Hi, my name is Danielle Hibbs, and for this project, the community that I chose to research was the LGBTQ community. Before I get into the LGBTQ community involved in children's literature, just some background information on this community is in New Jersey, there are anti-discrimination laws throughout the state, so they are protected under that. They have a LGBTQ anti-bullying rules and systems built into all the school districts. Same-sex marriages are allowed, and they have been since 2013. Also, LGBTQ sex ed is taught in all schools, and they are able to serve in the military since 2011. Now, all that background information is solely just New Jersey, and it is different throughout each state, which is a problem in itself almost, in my opinion, because you should be able to know your rights in every state that you go to, but I'm not very familiar with this community. That's why I wanted to do my project based on this, and I had to look it up. So as I was doing that, I was like, I'm looking up an individual's rights in a state. So it kind of made me realize how that is not okay. But aside from my opinion, researching that kind of made me realize that yes, we are taking positive steps for everyone having equal rights in every state, but there is still work to be done, and there's always room for improvement. So why the LGBTQ community should be represented in children's books is because that is what is a part of modern day society. They're going to be exposed to that at one point in their life, whether it's their friend's parents, their friend themselves, a sibling. It's going to be involved in some way, and they're going to see it, and it's even represented in social media, on television, in movies. It's kind of all around us now. So to have children exposed to that by a teacher, by someone who they look up to and are told to follow the rules from, they're going to see that as normal and see it as something to respect. Whereas if they just saw their sibling or their sibling's friend, they're going to really question that and wonder, is that right, or or what they're doing is wrong? So being taught that is very important for them, because then they will know how to act in a respectable way. Also, when children read books, they become attached to the characters, and they become they think they're real people almost. So when they see that these characters in the book are a part of this community, then they're going to think that it's okay. So they can relate to that if that's something that they are experiencing themselves, or they can compare it to that if it's a situation that they are seeing from an outside source. So they can relate these books and the characters from these books to a situation in their personal life. So it will give them something to compare it to, and it maybe will help these young children understand it better. The evaluation criteria that I established for this project is just to have these books express is just for these books to have the characters express exactly who they are and who they want to be. They should act the way that makes them the happiest, despite what other people around them may think, may say about them, or if they want to look a certain way, then they can. I want the characters in these stories to represent their life the exact way that they want to live it. If they want to dress a certain way or act a certain way, then they can. And I think the book that I chose for this did exactly that, and it did a great job at displaying that. Characteristics that an effective children's book would have to represent this community is just characters who are very strong-willed and who are not afraid to let themselves show, to let their real personality show. They have to be able to be exactly who they want to be, and to not let any outsiders' opinions affect that. So the book that I chose for this, I think it did exactly that. And it has been proven that people who are part of the LGBTQ community have been experiencing discrimination and have been going through many hardships throughout their entire lives, most likely. So this book is something that they should all be proud of, that they have got. These books should represent some of the progress that they've made, and the progress that they are still making to have equal rights and to just live the lives that they want to. What I learned through research is that the LGBTQ community, all they want is to be respected, and they just want equal rights for everyone. Your legal human rights should not really depend on who you choose to love in this world. So I think that they just really want to be treated equally as everyone else. So without further ado, the book that I chose to close read for this project is called This Day in June by Gail E. Pittman, And I think this book was a great choice for myself because it wasn't like a standard book with characters and dialogue. It was kind of more the illustrations led the book in a way because they were so colorful. There was characters represented in the book, but no names were mentioned or anything. It was just descriptive short sentences that describes the parade that happens every year in June. Like I said, how the illustrations really carried this book. I like that more for children because they rely on the images heavily more than the words, because some of the words in the story they won't even be able to read if you have a younger age group. So they can really see these photos and like the happiness that is displayed in the illustrations and they can they'll put the pieces together on their own when they see these photos to see like, wow, these characters are having such a great time. This must be something that's really fun and really enjoyable to go to. And even if someone's not a part of this community, going anyway is just a great way to show your support for them and that you accept everything that they believe in as well. I did point out in my paper that on a certain page of the story there is a character with blue hair and blue lipstick, and he just doesn't care what anyone around him is thinking, but the difference between that is that everyone who is around him is supporting him. So he's even more happy and more excited to be exactly who he is because he has support from everyone around him. And this book shows that throughout with many different situations. I pointed another illustration out of the mom who was supporting her two gay sons, which was just like really nice to see in a children's story, because parent support is very important, or especially for a child who may be confused about their sexual identity. So parent support is very important. And there were other characters throughout the entire story who were dressed exactly who they wanted to be. There was one I remember who was in like a mermaid tail, and there was another one who just had like lace and flowers and everything was just in her hair, and she was just they were just doing exactly what they wanted with no judgment, no care, and the photos looked like it was a great time. But the illustrations, they were just short 1 or 2 word sentences that just described like what was happening on each page, and it was like a lot of words that involve like a lot of description words involving the setting, so that it was a very happy environment and a very like positive place to be, because everything, like I said, like the birds were chirping, there was people dancing and smiling, so it was like a very happy, enjoyable, exciting book. And it also had a rhyming pattern to it, so it kind of was easy to follow, and it would be great for children to have like that pattern aspect of reading to like improve fluency and like word recognition and everything like that. So there was a message being displayed and also like a reading lesson also involved in this book. So overall, I feel like this was a great story for me to use to express the LGBTQ community. I feel like it gave great examples of just expressing who you are, expressing who you want to be, showing children that it's okay to act a certain way or to dress a certain way or to look a certain way. It tells them that they are not alone. It gives them that sense, like if it's something they are experiencing themselves, that there are so many other people who are going through this, because there's so many characters drawn on each page. It was a really nice story and I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed learning about this community more. It made me do a lot of research and some things I were not aware of. So it really made me learn and like become educated on this community. You enjoyed reading my paper and watching this video because I enjoyed creating it. Thank you.